Hi, thanks for joining me for another video. Today it's going to be a little bit different because it's not just a review of a guitar that came from my friend's shop. It's actually kind to prove or disprove whether this 2003 Les Paul is an Epiphoney and not an Epiphone. So this could be quite interesting. So there's not going to be any real science in this. All you can do is just do your research. Well, I'll do the research, and you can throw anything in the comments which might help as well. And we'll get up close to the guitar, we'll play it, we'll strip it down, we'll have a look at everything, and just to see if we can prove it's real or not real. Now, the reason for doing this is, as I say, this came into my friend's shop a few weeks ago. Sold to him by a chap who bought it new, and it seems to be the real deal, really. But somebody's interested in buying it, and they're looking closely at it, and they said it's a fake. And the reason they're saying it's a fake is the usual kind of things. He thinks the Graver tuners don't look good enough. He thinks that the legending here, the Epiphone, isn't correct. It's in the wrong position. A number of other things, and so decided not to buy it. So it wasn't the fact that he was just trying to knock him down on price. The guy decided to walk. Now you're thinking, are there many Epiphonies out there? But apparently there is. Do you think? Well, we all know about the Gibsons, the Gibson ones, the custom shops especially, and you've got to be so careful buying anything second hand. If it's too good to be true, then it probably is. So you've got to really protect yourself on this. But apparently there are quite a few phony Epiphones out there. I don't know if you watch the great Dave Simpson channel. Great player, great guy. He bought an Epiphony. I think he knew it was going to be a phony though. It wasn't anything underhand. So I might have to re-watch that video and see what he came up with. But I've done a little bit of research, and the usual things to look for is yes, the tuners, yes, the legending being correct, looking under at the truss rod cover and the truss rod adjustment. Other things is obviously the bridge and the saddles and stuff. So we'll look close at that, and the electronics. Now this, to me, doesn't... It feels it resonates. It feels like fairly good quality hardwoods. There's good fretwork on it. The paint finish is good. To me, it looks the genuine thing. So stay with me, and we'll try and apply a little bit of reasoning and logic to this. We'll strip it right down, go right through it. We'll play it and see what we come up with conclusion-wise. Okay, let's get to it. Right, I've done a couple of checks. I've checked the serial number for one thing. It is a 2003, according to the database. Made in a factory in Korea. Now, to check that database, I've got my Epiphone Modern LP, and I checked the serial number of that, and it came up with the correct year, the manufacturer. I know the year I bought it as well. And that came up with the Chinese factory, which is actually correct for that model. So I think the database is working. Now, we can't always rely on serial numbers because we know that some fakes have just borrowed serial numbers, genuine serial numbers, to kind of throw people off. So I got back into looking at this using my trusty verniers. Going back to this, where the guy said this isn't correct, the emblem. So I checked the distance down to the P. It is centralised beautifully, and it's 18mm. And I checked my other LPs, and they're all 18mm. Good so far. But the dot above the eye on the Epiphone here is much closer than on my other emblems. So I'm thinking, well, is that because the others were made in China? So I looked on my Korean made. It's an 1984 custom model, and that is very, very similar to this. So it could be a tooling thing, I don't know, but I'll put a picture up now showing you the other thing I found, which is the Epiphone width on this is 47mm, and all my other ones, my other LPs, apart from the Korean one, they're 51mm. So I can see why people get thrown when things are different, but it doesn't mean to say it's fake. But I'll put that picture up now so you can see as a comparison. So you can see the differences there. I have looked over this guitar closely, and it's pretty flawless finish wise, but I have found a couple of issues that we're going to take a close look at, and that's the fret inlays. A couple of them look crooked to me. So I'm going to measure that. We'll get this on the bench, we'll measure it so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll strip it down, so rather than me just waffle and talk about it, you can actually see what we're doing. So let's get on with that. Okay, so this, on the bench, let's see some pickup readings. Neck pickup 8.35k. That's quite high for the bridge, but then my Korean custom one is about 14k, so that's not overly conclusive really. On my other LPs, they're about around 8k each. So without knowing the exact model, it makes it a little difficult. Now I've taken the strings off. Why don't people learn how to string guitars properly? They bloody knotted the strings at the top, and they were snapping anyway, so they have to come off. Let's look at the bridge at the back. There's no stamp marks in there. I'll check on one of my other guitars for that. I don't think they always do it. Now, one thing the guy was saying that these on here on the AVR bridge, they shouldn't have slots in them, but I think that's crap because all mine have slots in them. Just, check. That's got B2 on it. It's upside down, but it says B2, so I think that's fine. Now, I was a little bit worried about these fret inlays because the routing looks to be too deep, and so I can feel a step on each one of these. Now I'll try and do a close up with another camera and put that up, and they don't look quite right in places, to be honest. They really don't. I've checked on 3 of my other Epiphones and they're absolutely impeccably brilliant. They really are. They're flawless. So I'm a little bit worried about that. All the inlays on the other guitars as well, they're rounded. These are very sharp on the edges, but looking up another Korean one that was for sale, they were sharp edged as well. When I say sharp, where the inlays kind of sort of shape up the ends, each corner, they're very pointy, and on all my other Epiphones they're all been rounded off and they're fitting the fret inlay routes absolutely perfectly. Well, these are not perfect at all. So that's a little bit of a red flag for me actually. And like I say, one of these is actually a little tiny bit crooked. I think the route's straight, it's just the inlay isn't fitted perfectly, so it looks crooked. Right, I think what we'll do next is take off truss rod cover and drop these out as well. So I won't film that and speed it up because it's an arseache. So yeah, I'm being lazy. So we'll get those out and we'll come back and have a look. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit wobbly because I'm doing this by hand, obviously. Now, this is a little bit encouraging. Now, you've seen the pictures of those fret inlays. Maybe it's just a bad day, or maybe the actual fretboard has dried out a little. But these look to me to be fairly authentic. You've got the Epiphone. If you can't read the label, I've actually put a little picture up now of these so you can actually see what it reads. It says 57 CHG dot neck bridge LP neck, and this one, it's got the Epiphone on it as well again, and it's hot CHG LP bridge. There's nothing that worries me about those at all. They look authentic, and also the cavities look pretty good. You can see the tenon joint there from the neck, it's all set in properly, and the finish looks right. It's not layers of plywood, which a lot of the Epiphonies are apparently. All that chambering looks to be correct. So I think where this fretboard around the inlays is a bit gapped and stuff, I'm just wondering whether this is, I mean, it's it's getting old, isn't it? It's 2003, so it's a 22-year-old guitar. So I'm just wondering if it's never had any moisture put into this fretboard and it's just shrunk back. But if it shrunk back, would it increase the gap or decrease it? I don't know. Any luthiers out there, let me know. Yeah, the fretwork looks so good though. It's just those inlays were a little bit worrying. Now I'll give you a close-up now of the truss rod cover removed as well, so you can see in there. So I think we're looking okay. Now we'll turn it over, look at those tuners, look in the cavities on the back, and then I think we'll just throw some strings on it, set it up, and see what plays. Okay, guitar turned over. Yeah, these cavities look okay. The wiring looks pretty normal, I think, actually. I mean, they never look superbly neat, do they, in these guitars? Let's take a little look down this cavity. Yeah, that looks okay. Now, I don't know, the pots crack a little bit, so I'm going to give those a spray in a minute. Now, let's look at these Graver tuners. They don't look rough cast to me. Now, I've seen some fake ones and they are absolutely shite. So here's a close-up of the stamp with the Graver bit. And I think, to be honest, well, these are 20 years old, so there's a little bit of tarnishing on them, but yeah, I think we're okay. I'm beginning to think this is actually genuine. Anybody disagrees, please put in the comments and give the reasons. So let's get this back together, string it up, and do a review on how it sounds. what's your conclusion then? I reckon it's a real deal. I really do. I think there's too much evidence to show it's a proper Epiphone. I don't think a faker would go to all that expense and time on getting such a good finish, getting all the routing good where the pickups go, those chambers look right, the mahogany looks solid. The woods are too good, I think. I was throwing a curveball with some of these inlays, and I'm just wondering whether it was routed with the wrong tooling, because like I say, on a lot of the Epiphone range, they're rounded on the corners of these inlays, but these are pointy, and I've seen other Korean built ones that are pointy, technical term. The tuners are too good, the pickups I think are too good, the material is too good, the finish is too good, and I think the electronics, everything, the binding, the fretwork, I think it's all too good to be a real cheap knockoff Epiphoney. That's my opinion. If you disagree, then please let me know and state why. Anyway, once I got into this and gave it a good setup, and I ordered the fretboard, it came out quite nice really. The action was way too high, and I think the problem was there's no neck relief, and so in fact it was actually curving the other way, the neck. So I think the guy who had it before, who couldn't string for fucking shit. Why do people tie knots? String things properly. It's a bastard to get out. It took me longer to get those knots out of those bloody tuning pegs than it did for me to do the whole setup. Anyway, ran it over. Hope he's not watching this. Once I set it up right and put the right amount of relief in the neck, adjusted the truss rod, another sign that this is quite good because it reacted instantly to a truss rod adjustment. I got the action down much lower. It plays cleanly. It's really silky smooth to play. Yeah, I think it's a real thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed some of that. I know there's a lot of waffle, but I just thought it was something of interest. So more videos coming up, so please stay tuned for those. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch up again soon. Bye now.